detective. Thrill me.
Thanks for joining us again. We're back in canon territory. Jared picked up a couple of books over the last few days that really go through the canon films experience, don't they?
Top to bottom.
So we decided to dip into some canon and later canon too, where things were a bit out of control, Jared. So today's episode is on Death Wish 4, The Crackdown. Before we get to that, though, let's quickly run through what we've been watching. I have watched the majority of the Netflix basketball comedy Running Point, which is not too bad, Jared. Not too bad.
Jesus.
Pretty funny.
Okay.
Pretty funny. Unfortunately, the basketball looks...
When you say comedy here, what are we talking? Like, what are we...
Well,
is it like one of those kind of, 90s Disney Channel kind of...
No. We're talking about, like, explicit sort of comedy.
Right.
MA comedy, right?
Okay.
I think Mindy Kaling's involved. Ike Barinholtz, like they're involved in creating it.
Yep.
Pretty funny.
Okay.
I think you'd like it.
All right. I better check it out.
Yeah, just check it out. Give it a quick run through. I'm halfway through the third season of Reacher, which is good. We just started the 7th season of Drive to Survive. Due to the death of Gene Hackman, we went back to 1993's The Firm. Not as good as I remember it. It's very convoluted the longer it goes. The good stuff's all in the first hour and a bit, where you're not sure what the firm is up to. You get a few quirky guys like Gary Busey in there and just add a little bit of, little bit of a lighter touch. Tom Cruise is really good. Gene Hackman, of course, fucking awesome. But it just starts to, his plan for getting everyone involved and not getting disbarred is fucking ludicrous. And the mob would have shot him. Like, they wouldn't have taken a fucking meeting with the bloke. They'd have killed him. So you have to swallow some shit. And it takes a little bit of the shine off it for me. But still, great to see Gene at the peak of his powers. Speaking of 1993, I went back and watched Philadelphia.
Okay.
Really great film. I really like that film. It's fucking really well handled. It's not exploitative of what the material. And it's just really well acted. Denzel, Tom Hanks. There's a few others in there, secondary players who are really good. I also love the soundtrack song from The Boss, Streets of Philadelphia. Fucking love it.
Low key, mate. King of the soundtrack song.
Fucking awesome. No, Kenny Loggins.
No.
You've fucked that up.
No, sorry.
Okay.
I can rattle off 3 off the top of my head that are all classics.
We then watched Hidden Figures, which was really good. Really, really good. I liked it a lot. Excellent performances from the 3 leading ladies. Kevin Costner, a nice, quiet performance in the background.
Kevin Costner, when he was sort of humbled for a little while and had to toe the line.
Before once again he thought, you know what? A fucking trio of bloated westerns.
Yeah, I'm back on top, baby. I'm going to start carrying on like an asshole again. And I'm going to burn through some cash with some
Kevin, as I said, stop doing this. And the last one, Jared, is a film that you watched the entire franchise of the other week. Nemesis. Understandably stupid and so fucking weirdly complicated. I didn't know what was happening.
Yeah.
But as far as the fucking action set pieces go, really good.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
Like, there's some fucking fantastic action scenes.
And guys like Tim Thomason sort of carry some shit through.
You've got
Brian the Chameleon James.
Hell. Brian, just fucking use your own voice. For God's sake. Who told you to be a fucking Russian?
I thought it was German.
Oh, was he meant to? Oh, fucking hell. See, the guy even confused me. I didn't know which one he was using. You had a bit of Thomas Jane briefly. Yep. Who else did you have? You had someone else.
I think Jackie Earl Haley.
Jackie Earl Haley pops up at
briefly.
the end.
Yeah.
There's a couple of fucking action scenes where I was like, this would not be out of place in a real Hollywood action picture.
Yeah.
And this is what I mean. If you gave Albert Pune, is it? The keys to a Hollywood action movie and a budget, I reckon he could have done some really good shit.
Yeah, there was definitely something that like he didn't just fucking stumble into it. He obviously had he had some ability. And
What
a
he
lot of the
didn't
time
have-
it just got stuck without budgets and whatnot.
What he didn't have, Jared, was a fucking firm grasp on the plot.
No, it wasn't his. I wouldn't say it. I would say it was his strong
It's a
point.
loose grasp.
It's a loose
at
grasp
the
on that one.
absolute best.
Yeah. As I said to you, there's a lot going on, but there's not a lot going on simultaneously. Like,
And look, I love Oliver Granier's. He's pretty good in the action stuff. He's physical.
yeah,
Jared. Not an actor's butthole though. like he's just Oliver. He hasn't got the emotional range, even though you don't even need it here.
There was enough sort of running from people that we could just stop and get a bit of hand to hand for a minute or two, just to let Oliver really go to town.
But otherwise,
I heard they were initially it was the lead role was written for a woman, but the producers wanted to cash in on the success of Angel Town. Adam.
Yeah.
So
Well,
Oliver
funnily
got the
enough,
role.
Jared, I've seen Angel Town. I don't know what they were talking about. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear
I
you.
don't know where the cashing in and the
picking up what you're
success
putting
is
down
coming
there, mate.
from. That was it for me.
Okay.
You'd have a little list, wouldn't you?
Oh, I've got a few. I've got a
Okay,
few.
good. No franchises that you fucking dig your eyeballs out
Well.
rather than watch.
Yes, but so a little bit of TV. I'm still working through. I watched a little bit of Yellow Jackets. I watched the first episode of Daredevil: Born Again.
What was that like?
A little rough. It was really slow. The first episode was really slow. It was just sort of reestablishing Matt Murdock and Kingpin, but it was an hour long and it was just it was a bit boring.
Tough hour.
But
It's the same actors, correct?
yes, it is.
So
Which I'm really happy about because I think I think that was one of the things they nailed with the Daredevil series. So I'm certainly not. I still enjoyed it, but it was just a little bit slower than what you expected. They tried one of those sort of one-shot fight scenes, and it just didn't have as much success. Like, it was really cool in that they kind of start in this bar, and then it kind of works its way upstairs, and they end up on the roof. And some of it was really cool, but the shooting of the actual fights was strange. Like, some of the shots were just so far away that you couldn't see what was happening. It was real high and low in that particular scene. But I'm still firmly in because I believe, Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio are just spot on in both of those roles. So I think there's going to be something there. I think it'll build. I think it was very much just sort of reestablishing where we're at, whilst also somewhat cutting the cord and saying, right, we're in the MCU now. We're not in the Netflix series anymore.
Okay.
So that was okay. Movie-wise, I started off with a little... You talk about franchises and shit like that. I started off venturing into a couple of films of Enzo G. Castellari.
Ah, yes, Enzo.
So obviously we've watched things like The Last Shark. And
Enzo has struggled.
Well, I'd watched Street Law, which was the kind of Death Wish with Franco Nero. I watched 1990, The Bronx Warriors.
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of, a touch of Mad Max, a splash of Escape from New York, obviously.
A sprinkle of fucking...
Well, actually, it was a large helping, but it was kind of, it's obviously on the cheap. Look, one thing the Italians did at that time when they were knocking off things and just ripping off elements of other movies, they managed to make them reasonably entertaining, and they managed to blow some shit up, and they managed to throw some, some gunfights and things in there. So this one was okay. Again, it was very up and down. There was portions of it where it got a little bit boring, but then you'd get into these elements that were like the Warriors almost. Like you'd have these. There was one gang that was dressed up like a theatre troupe or something. They were doing a bloody dance number at one point. But you get Fred Williamson in there. You get a little bit of that sort of happening.
Yep.
So that was okay. And then I went on to its sequel. Vic Morrow was actually in it too. He seemed to hang around Enzo a little bit.
Did he?
The sequel was Escape from the Bronx, which was more of the same. I think I actually didn't mind either of them. I thought the second one was probably a touch better. And then jumped into the New Barbarians, which was more kind of Mad Maxy, sort of, post-apocalypse. But again, some of the costumes made it seem like there was a little bit of sci-fi kind of touches there. But they all have one thing in common. They had a couple of reasonable action scenes. I mean, this one had, a couple of fights while they're driving cars and then someone falls off and gets run over and like all this sort of stuff that you find entertaining just on a small scale, cheap, done reasonably well. After that, Canon books arrived. The Canon books were delivered to my doorstep. So essentially I got the Canon film guides 1 and 2, which kind of go chapter by chapter through almost every Canon film after.
Are these books
Golan
only
and Globus took
available
over.
overseas?
I got it on Amazon, but it came from overseas.
Okay.
Yeah, very, very cool stuff. Some of them are very short chapters, but I pretty much just started from the start and tried to go through them. So that's how I ended up watching The Happy Hooker Goes to Hollywood.
Oh, God. How was that?
Which was not
Rough?
good. Not great.
Yeah.
It's one of these ones where it was kind of like it was a comedy, but it wasn't very funny.
Right, okay.
But, you had a couple of known players in there. Probably Adam West would have been the biggest name. And the male lead was Hulk Hogan's buddy from Thunder in Paradise,
Oh.
Chris Lemon.
Oh,
Jack's son.
Jack's son.
Yeah. Yes. So, yeah, I couldn't recommend that one.
It doesn't sound like it could. I wasn't expecting a recommendation when you fucking mentioned it.
Yep. Then straight into Schizoid with
Klaus Kinski,
Klaus
noted
Kinski.
fucking psychopath.
Yeah.
Not directed by Werner Herzog, so no one was getting threatened with death.
No, that's right. Look, not bad. It's very low end, sort of. It's almost slasher.
How's
Very-
Kinski?
I mean, the man could act.
He
Like-
could.
He could act, but he was a fucking strange unit. Like, there's just something about him that's. He's a talented actor, but there's something about him where it's like, as you said, especially knowing his background, you kind of look at him and he's like a fucking coiled spring. Like, something's going to happen.
Yeah, he's going to go off his fucking niner any second.
Yeah.
Like, imagine directing him.
Oh.
It's like fucking handling nitroglycerin.
Oh, of course. I mean,
You'd be fucking
occasionally.
sitting there going, what do I say that was no good? We need another take, or is this guy going to fucking tear my head off?
Yeah,
Honestly,
occasionally I go
first
back
take
and
would
watch
be fucking. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah,
Done, Klaus.
I occasionally go back and watch that fucking short film that the guy did about making the film with him. What was it called? Please Kill Mr. Kinski or something like that. Like, and I mean, it's piss funny how he talks about
reputation there.
he talks about going through like 1 or 2 takes and then it's like, cut, Klaus, what's the matter now? And Kinski's fucking blowing up about something and like, it's just, yeah.
Your reputation as an actor is a large portion of the crew would like to kill you. On
Yeah.
film.
Well, multiple movies, isn't it? Where crew members have offered to kill the
one
bloke.
one off. Like you acted like a bit of a prick. You were going through a rough trot.
Yeah, yeah.
You may have been on the gear.
Yeah.
And then the crew were not fucking fans of you.
Yeah, yeah.
Every fucking second movie the bloke was fucking getting threatened.
Yeah, from what I understand, legitimate offers to kill you on 2 different movies. Like, that's pretty bad, Klaus.
And you listen to him fucking going off at Werner Herzog a couple of times.
Wasn't that about bloody the craft services or something?
Something like that.
And he's going off like a
Calling him a
lunatic.
fucking cunt and all sorts of stuff.
Why am I laughing?
So they didn't have fucking sub sandwiches.
Why am I laughing? The man appeared to be
the man
appeared to be a fucking terrible father, an abusive person. And I'm laughing at his fucking antics.
Stop laughing,
laugh.
Jared.
I'm not laughing
You should
at
be
that.
fucking
portion.
ashamed of yourself.
I'm laughing at blowing up about craft services. Just eat the fucking bread that you don't like to eat
It's
just for one day.
free, asshole.
Ah, Klaus, you prick. So the next 2.
I wish he was still around.
Can you imagine Klaus in the internet age? Fuck me. There'd be videos going everywhere. Like, well, he would have been cancelled immediately, but
Fucking hell. Okay.
good Lord.
Continue.
I mean,
before
we've got that we've got one of the most epic rants caught on film when they actually had to use film to catch it.
Yeah. the fucking phone age. Klaus would be in the shit every day.
Yeah, of course. So the next one was Dr. Heckle and Mr. Hype, which was
Jesus Christ.
which was a comedic. It was almost supposed to be like a spoof. I didn't laugh once, Adam. It was supposed to be like a comedic take on Jekyll and Hyde, but it's like the guy's ugly, and then when he takes the stuff, he's turns it. It's like Stephen Urkel and Stefan Urkel, Adam. Like, but give me a couple of
that.
Throw a couple of names at me that you think you might cast in a spoof. Trying to get some comedy around the 1980 sort of range.
Oh,
Just a name or two, like a.
we talking like not some silly prick from like Police Academy. Or
Well,
somewhere
you know,
like that.
that's what I'd be thinking.
Yeah.
Oliver Reed was the man that we've gone with.
He's
Speaking of lunatics,
well, imagine having to dry that prick out every
fucking
day.
hell. Yeah, so he was the one trying to get laughs, and it was
Oh, Oliver.
Yeah, it was a
Outside of your
shambles.
wheelhouse, mate.
absolute shambles.
The only laughs you're getting is
honestly
when
didn't
you're
laugh once.
shit-faced that night.
Yeah, the only time I've laughed at Oliver Reed was when Charles Band was telling that story about him. How he said he was, he seemed to have like a steel bladder. He said he was drinking all night and didn't go to the toilet, and then the next morning I found fucking 8 bottles of piss under my under my table.
Holy shit! And no one noticed. I mean, talk about a fucking man in charge of his drinking,
Oh,
Jared. Because if I had to pee into a fucking bottle after I've had 10 scooters, it's all over my leg and everyone else.
I hope it was a long tablecloth. Like,
Maybe he had one of those fucking golf buddies.
I think this is where The Rock picked up his fucking nonsense from, by the sound of it. But yeah, that was another can't
You know,
recommend.
The Rock had a conversation with someone who was like, you know who used to have this fucking speeding things up on set? Gun?
Yeah.
Oliver Reed.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
urinate in cups.
So the next one, and this is the point where I started looking at these books that looked like, 5 Bibles stacked on top of each other and thought, fuck, this is going to be hard, was The Apple,
The Apple.
which was Golan's grand vision for a disco musical.
Oh, fuck me. Those two things should not sort of go together.
At least this one I could laugh at a little bit.
Was it even just entertaining from like some of the songs and dance numbers? I mean,
The
sometimes
songs were awful. Whoever wrote them probably shouldn't have got another job.
probably golden.
But again, it had
Did he
his.
direct it?
Yes, he directed
Oh,
that one. But you know how, like, he just had this. Like, he gets credit for his ability to latch onto
A fad sort of
fad.
going on.
But he also, it was kind of like, yeah, you give him credit for kind of trying to get ahead of the curve slightly or latch onto the thing that was popular at the time. But then he also just demonstrates he's so far out of touch with with whatever's going on that it's just like, it's fucking wild. Like, you watch some of these scenes and you just jaws on the floor. Like, who thought this was a good idea?
Fucking hell.
But that one's got a bit of that kind of cult sort of camp
So bad it's good type of
enjoyment
shit.
about it. I mean, I gave it a 1 out of 5, but there was a few parts that I could actually laugh at. And,
Okay.
a little bit of enjoyment. So outside of that, I was intending to do a little bit of work through the Death Wish series anyway when this came up.
Yep.
So I skipped ahead a few chapters, and the way that they do it in the books is once they talk about one movie, they'll then talk about the sequels in the same chapter.
Okay, good.
So I just skipped ahead of the Death Wish chapter. I was intending to watch part 1, but could not find it legally streaming anywhere.
Not even flying overseas.
No, I couldn't even call up Qantas and say, get me
Get me
on another
plane flight over
frequent
there.
flyer number. But so
You
I
couldn't
went,
even rent it?
couldn't rent it. No,
Oh, shit.
couldn't find it anywhere.
Christ, that fucking purged the world of it.
Which in some
It's
ways
better than
might have been a
that.
bad
It's
thing. But
better
yeah,
than that.
so I jumped straight into Death Wish 2.
Yep.
And Death Wish 3 before we
Knock this puppy out.
knocked this one out.
You still got Death Wish 5 to come.
Still got Death Wish 5 to come. there's something I do love about the series. Like, it's just once you hit 3 and 4, it's exactly why you want to watch Cannon movies, and what I'm kind of more looking forward to when I get into the meat of those books, when we get into the sort of the Dudikoffs and the Van Dams and more Chuck and Charles.
Yeah, that's where we get
Chuck
going.
and Chuck. It's kind of Death Wish 2 it's okay, but I just find when Winner was kind of left to his own devices, there's a bit of seediness to him that I don't really like, and that kind of seeps into 3 a little bit. But 3 also kind of on the back end starts to go absolutely bonkers, which I enjoyed.
Yes.
So that was it.
That was it. All right, strap it in. Here's the trailer for 1987's Death Wish 4, The Crackdown.
Bronson is back in the biggest death wish ever. It's either him or us. Drug dealers rule an empire within our streets and beyond our laws. I warned you, I tell her! But the one thing they didn't count on was a one-man crackdown. Who are you? Dead. Charles Bronson, Death Wish 4, The Crackdown, rated R.
Death Wish 4 starts Friday at a theater near you.
Death Wish 4, The Crackdown, from 1987, directed by J. Lee Thompson, who directed Cape Fear.
Yeah.
The original Cape Fear.
I think he did
Guns of Navarone as well.
Didn't he do 8 Cannon films?
He did. Most of them with Charlie.
And 9 Bronson films.
Fuck me.
But yeah.
They must have got on great.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got classics on the resume.
Is there any nuggets of sort of Bronson arseholery in these books?
No, there's mentions of, that he was sort of uninterested in returning to be Paul Kersey until 1.5 million was fucking
landed on his lap.
table, and he was kind of like, yeah, okay.
But what I mean is maybe he was pretty easy to work with.
No, well, I think he was, but it says, kind of in the second one, yeah, he was uninterested, but morals are flexible when the fucking cash turns up, and the cash was turning up for Charles, for a guy that was not a heavy hitter.
He was not a big star.
Yeah,
no.
So I think they said part 3, there was a little bit of grumbling to the media about the violence in Death Wish 3. And sort of around 3 or 4, he was a little more open with some of his displeasure about certain aspects of the movies.
Well, Charlie was an older man, but he also understood this was the twilight of his career.
Yeah.
And if he's making $4 million, $5 million a picture to make this shit.
And as we said, these movies were coming across some very difficult periods in his personal life with his wife's illness and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the fucking last thing I'd want to do is turn up to a set with Michael Winner too, by the sounds of things.
Far out. No, neither would I. But then someone said you're getting paid fucking $400,000 a day.
Yeah. Well, it seems like 2, 3, and 4, Charles was just like, no. And then figures were rolled out, and Charles could not possibly say no.
Charles was like, did I say no? No, I meant yes.
Oh, man.
All right. Produced by Poncho Kona, who produced Messenger of Death, another Bronson picture. And written by Gail Morgan Hickman, who wrote Murphy's Law, another Bronson film. Now, this was all sort of the incestuousness of canon.
Mm.
It stars Charles Bronson as Paul Kersey, Kay Lenz as Karen Sheldon, John P. Ryan as Nathan White, and Perry Lopez as Ed Zacharias. The budget was $5 million estimated, and the box office was $7 million in the US. I think it might actually have been worldwide. Charles Bronson's salary was $4 million.
Again, Adam, can't say no.
Almost more than the film's budget.
Well, didn't you say around this particular time was when Bruce Willis was clocking in a 5 for Die Hard?
Yeah.
So if Charles Bronson's getting offered 4, there's no way he can say fucking.
Well, imagine
say
what
no to this.
we were just cresting into the 90s, where payments to salaries to big stars were went through the roof.
Yeah. So
the fact that Bronson still got $4 million for this, just tells you like kind of Cannon's model seemed to be that you had a small budget and you threw a shitload of money at a star.
Mm.
That was it. Like Stallone in Over the Top. They gave him $12.5 million.
Mm. I can't wait to
fucking
read about that one.
ridiculous.
There's already been a couple of mentions on other Canon pictures about Golan's fervour over the top script.
Which one did he read? Because it can't have been the one that we watched. It can't have.
Yeah, who knows?
All right. This movie is super ridiculous, overacted to the hilt, but I had some fun. And I didn't hate it, Jared. Usually I look at these movies and go, ugh, why do I got to sit through it? I kind of enjoyed sitting through this. It makes fuck all sense, and there's all sorts of stupid shit in it. But they actually do the right thing of doing the old tried and true playing off two gangs against each other. That shit always works in these sorts of movies. And they end up throwing a couple of little minor twists and shit in to keep you interested. Just don't think too much about it, I think is the way to look at this.
Yeah.
I gave it 2.5.
Yep. I actually went for a 3.
3!
Yeah, I think, look, it's the same old shit. I mean, Paul Kersey, we'll have a little chat about his fucking trajectory in life and what he's gone through at this point. But they rush through that, which is ridiculous at parts. But then, as you said, it's just an avenue to get to this playing the gangs off against each other. And when we get to that, it's a very simple formula, but it works pretty well.
Works reasonably well.
We just get scenes of Bronson doing exactly what we've tuned into this one for, and turning up and, mowing down a couple of people or taking out an operation of some sort. As you said, they try to throw in a couple of twists with varying success, but a couple of reasonable actors that get you through the work, and all in all, it's pretty fun. So this is the type of, this is the reason why to this day I'm fucking buying books about Canon films because of ones like this.
Correct.
Because they were entertaining and
And you
fun.
want to read about the behind the scenes of shit like this.
Yes, correct.
And look, I'm never going to say we're going to likes now. I'm never going to say this is fucking brilliantly directed, because it certainly is not. But J. Lee Thompson is this crafty and old director that he just he knows how to kind of get it to work.
Yeah. Old
Right?
hand. Just
an old hand.
Just a pro.
He knows, look, this is what people are going to want. Like, J. Lee was no fucking stranger to Canon films, right? So he knew the kind of angle they were always looking for in their
Yes.
pictures.
And at this point, the Bronson sort of Canon, I guess it's not really a template,
Established, mate.
but
Established
what you
formula.
wanted, the couple of boxes that you need to tick was well established.
Absolutely. So I'll give that a like. I'll give that a tick of my approval.
Yeah.
I like the idea of Bronson kind of being kind of picked up as kind of a hitman. Like,
yeah.
I kind of felt that was the best way to go here. You're 4 movies into a franchise where the guy's kind of basically a vigilante
Yeah.
who seemingly never runs afoul of the cops.
No, well, we come off. So obviously it's the same cop in 1 and 2. Like, there's the cop in 1 that kind of clocks him, but they, we're going into spoilers for the series if you haven't watched the series, but they clock him in 1 and then kind of let him walk because they don't want to deal with the backlash because he's come sort of a folk hero. So they kind of decide, okay, well, he's probably done us a favor in some ways and we don't want to fucking deal with the media, so he can walk.
Yeah.
Part 2, we get a similar sort of vibe from the LA cops, but the same cop from New York comes to turn up and kind of keeps them off the track to nail him himself, but then does a little bit of he gets shot defending Bronson and then kind of tells him fucking get the rest of them.
Yeah.
Part 3, which is one of the things I actually really like about Part 3, is the cop, when he is initially arrested and telling him, my name's Kimball, he kind of shuts the door and says, I was in New York. Your name's Paul Kersey and I know exactly what you did, but
Yeah.
you can do shit that I can't.
Yes.
So I'm going to get you to go and do that. Just keep me in the loop and give me a couple of busts.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, that's good. So now we've got the same scenario kind of playing out. But as you said, he kind of is still given license and resources outside of that. that allow him to kind of, and, you know, we end up with a little bit of dirty cop stuff, which I'll come back to later,
Yeah.
which kind of makes that work as well.
Yeah, a little bit, yes. I
So
agree
it's
with
kind
that.
of the progression through the series in that sense isn't too bad. I mean, they never really grapple with what the fucking novel's going for about whether by the end of it, Kersey is worse. His name's not Kersey in the book, but whether he's actually worse than those people that he was starting with.
But
by the end
Dino
of it,
De Laurentiis and fucking Golan and Globus would
interest in
never have
doing
been
that.
able to comprehend any of that.
No, of course not. But even if you can comprehend it, like
It
from
was
what I know,
it was an anti-fucking vigilante book,
yeah,
basically.
from what I know, De Laurentiis is a smart man. He knows how to fucking market a film and knows how to do.
True.
So even if they do pick up on it, they're probably like, that's not where the dollars are.
Yeah.
You
No
know,
one's going to
so-
be interested. No one wants to fucking dig into this.
Yeah.
We just want to see vengeance. So I
Speaking
get that.
like touching on that briefly, I like, even though it's really silly that he has that fucking dream.
Yeah.
It kind of plays out like a dream. Like initially when you see it and the bad guys are sort of appearing and then disappearing
Yeah.
while the woman's looking up and down, and you're thinking this is a bit weird. But Bronson sort of waking up in a cold sweat after fucking shooting someone and then rolling over and seeing himself. I'm like, that might be the only point in the series where they've actually grappled with a little bit of that. Am I one of these guys now? Like,
yeah.
So I kind of liked that part of it.
Yes. I think, you know what, if you wanted to go a little deeper and grapple, which you didn't because it was part 4, but it could have been, Bronson could have been one of the muggers in the dream. That would have been more interesting. As to sort of say, well, you've become them, mate.
Yeah.
You're just as fucking bad.
Yep.
And look, this guy's killed more people than fucking Ted Bundy.
Oh, mate, Rambo's starting to sweat. He's thinking, Kersey's on my hammer. I've got to kill him.
Fuck, mate. No, Rambo killed no one the first time around. And in subsequent entries, he had to fucking kill everyone.
Of course.
But, you know, after Rambo had destroyed Hope, he looked like fucking an average Joe who never did anything wrong.
It's funny because the character sort of through the series is similar.
Yeah, has
the way
kind
that
of
it goes.
connections to what Rambo is.
Yeah.
The drug dealer getting shot and falling onto the electrified fencing around the Dodgem cars, I like that.
Yeah.
Cool.
That was
Kinda cool.
was pretty cool.
It just gives a little bit of zip to the actual scene, right? And someone dying in a slightly different way.
Yeah. I mean, like, fucking just if you're struggling for an idea for where to place your shootout or your throwdown, a fair, an arcade,
Love
something
it.
like it always goes all
Also,
right.
Jared, massive kudos to the fucking guy who, the witness who saw Bronson's car.
Yeah.
Ripped. No, jeans with shit written all over it. A fucking muscle singlet that's all ripped. He looks like Billy Idol.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. And he's got a massive earring. It was classic 80s.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Well, it's just
Fingerless
80s with that
gloves. I
touch
think he
of
also had fingerless gloves.
with
on.
that touch of Canon XS.
Yeah, little excess.
You can just imagine Golan going, no, this is how the kids dress. Like,
Yeah, I'm a 60-year-old man, but I know how the kids are dressing these days. Jesus, get your head out of your ass. Okay.
Good.
I like that Ed kills his right-hand man in front of the other gang
yes.
to sort of make a point.
Yeah.
I know what's going on. B, don't fuck with me,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. That was
I
pretty good.
dug that. It's kind of a nice little way of strong-arming without...
Another classic move.
It
Like,
is.
We've
Oh,
seen it a million times.
But
but-
it's nicely done.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was pretty good. And it's kind of putting in play this tension between the two gangs that they use through the rest of the movie.
I also like the fact that once they find that Bronson's in there, go into the toilet. Tell us
Yeah.
he's dead bad delivery. But they make him move the body. So basically,
Yes.
you're now in on this, pal.
Yeah.
Like you can't just say, oh, I witnessed this and they did that. No,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
Your fucking shit's all over this.
I dig that. And they kind of I like the fact that Bronson clocks this guy's going to kill me.
Yeah.
So I'll get him first. Don't so much like that they never circle back to that and think
No.
when they're like, who's doing this? It's like, what about that guy that pissed off and, you found the fucking body of your dead henchman? Maybe him. but yes.
Hey, he fucking killed himself. He cracked himself over the head with a tyre iron and fell into the boot.
That little bit of setup work is good.
Yeah.
I like that.
I do like that, though. Bronson cracks him over the head, puts him in the boot, and then he goes, looks around like this, and just presses
checks.
the out button and fucks off.
Yeah, love it. It was also around this time where I had another one it's not necessarily good acting or good filmmaking, but when his missus is pouring her heart out and fucking blaming herself for the death of her child. And then Bronson fucking reefs the car over to the corner and goes, you got to stop this and now. And I was like, mate, you're at the funeral. Like, this is when the emotions are at their peak. And then he's like, it's not your fault that Erica died. It's those damn drugs. And I'm like, Charlie, just fucking settle down, brother. Like, let the emotions come out. This is the place.
Let her grieve. Is that too much to ask?
She's just lost what we're led to believe is her only child in a tragic incident. And she's pouring her heart out to you, and you're fucking telling her, cut it out.
You're basically going, fucking who, me? Like, why are you telling me all this? We've only been sleeping together for 2 years. This is
It was
bullshit.
so funny. It's just it was one of those moments. As soon as I saw it, the first thing I thought was him waving the dildo around. Like, it's one of those jerk-off machines, isn't it? Where he's just at fever pitch.
Yeah, no, but you know what? He was so fucking embarrassed. He called it one of those masturbation machines.
Charles just sort of simmering with that rage that doesn't really come out. Like, it's funny because when he's killing people, he's cool as a cucumber. But in inappropriate situations, like
ice cool, like his bare face barely twitches when he fucking blows a person away.
But if you're pouring your heart out in the most vulnerable point in your entire life, Charles doesn't want to hear it.
Yeah. What kind of asshole would settle me with this?
I mean, you're treated like the lunch lady that served up the wrong type of chicken or whatever it was.
No, the fucking the coleslaw that he fucking hates. Makes me sick.
What did he get in the
quiche is disgusting and fucking coleslaw makes me sick.
Did he fucking buy something else and say, I'm not eating it, I thought it was this?
Yeah, that's right. He says, I thought it was pie.
So, yeah.
Charles, you picked that stuff up.
in the heat of the battle, absolutely ice cold. But, minor inconveniences and emotional moments. Fucking not equipped for it.
Don't do that to me. I've got a lot on my plate right now. I can't put up with you.
So good.
Okay. How's old mate's effort, though, with his missus when they're getting ready for the party? And she comes out in her dress. She goes, how do I look? And his fucking response is like shit.
Yeah.
I shouldn't laugh, but
the whole time those two were just yelling at each other.
But you know what, though? Some of that was kind of funny. Like, I feel they kind of, that sort of lightened the mood a bit.
It did. But, you two can break up at any point.
I know. And honestly, dude, if she's your bit on the side, I think it's time to cut that loose.
The cord.
Yeah.
You'll both be happier. You'll both be better people. I also like because there was a couple of amusing lines. There was one where, I mean, she's getting into the car going, I don't understand why they can't sing in English. And the bloke's there going, just get in the car or whatever.
You don't even speak English.
And then she goes, fuck you and the horse. No, he goes, fuck you and the horse you rode in on or whatever. And she goes, I did that and the horse came in first or something like that. I was like, Jesus Christ. Where are we going? We're getting back into Michael Winner territory.
Come on, Michael, take it easy. What were you doing there?
Yeah.
No, but I kind of got a relaxed vibe to that.
Yes.
Like it took a little bit of the heat away from the kind of consistently shooting people, which was going on.
You want to know the peak of it for me?
Yeah.
Again, I don't know why, but the guy finds Bronson in the hotel or the apartment or whatever, and he's like, what the fuck are you doing here? And Bronson goes, hands up. I was making a sandwich.
I had flashbacks to my dreams of breaking into Tom Hardy's place and fucking cooking steaks. I'm pretty sure that's what he said
What
to
the fuck
me.
are you doing here? I was cooking a steak.
I was cooking a steak, and now I'm taking it with me.
Yeah, Tom Hardy's fucking just, casually turning up to jiu-jitsu tournaments and winning them, so I don't think you are taking that steak with you, just quietly.
Yeah. I was cooking it for you.
Yeah. Just leave the door open. I'm on my way out.
I was making a sandwich, and then he fucking just goes like, for a guy who's like 70, he moves like a cat.
Yeah, he does.
He's constantly fucking guys. He's been held up at gunpoint. And he's throwing things.
Yeah. There's multiple times in the movie where he cuts his sentence just short to fucking rabbit punch someone or fucking swing his lunchbox at him. Like, great, it's great.
Yeah, his fucking granite lunchbox knocks a guy out.
Yeah, if that was my lunchbox, all that fucking happens is the lid flies open and your food flies out.
Well, Jared,
And the person just kind of rubs themselves and goes, "What?"
I was an
fuck was
exponent
that?
of bringing my lunch in a plastic bag. So
Yeah.
there wasn't a lot of work
Rookie move.
Rookie
As soon
move.
as you make a sandwich with too much fucking tomato on it or something,
Shit's
shit's leaking out.
everywhere, yeah.
I also enjoyed Art Sinella, a.k.a. Danny Trejo's brief,
Yeah,
brief
good,
moment.
Good to see Danny, sort of early Danny.
Yes, early
Fresh
Danny.
out of the joint.
But also, we've accused Bronson of some wooden acting, but holy shit, that moment where there's just a brief shot of the dummies
Yes.
before they get blown up is so fucking funny. Like, it's one of those moments where you just look at it and whoever's putting it together in this time is like, they're just watching a fucking blurry film strip or they get it on the VHS. You can't fucking pause it in time.
Yeah, you don't.
It's going to
You
be a
wouldn't see
shaky
it,
bit.
yeah.
You wouldn't see it. And then now we've got the facility to just fucking freeze it in all its glory.
Oh, magic.
Piss funny. But
Absolutely.
yeah, always like to see Danny in there.
He also doesn't waste time fucking taking everybody out. I mean, he shoots about 25 people at the fish joint
Oh,
with an Uzi.
that is awesome because that's where he's working with, like what you said. I think 2 people cop the treatment there where he hasn't finished speaking before he fucking throws one at him. But then
And he takes an
shoots-
Uzi out of his lunchbox.
Yeah, he takes the Uzi out of the lunchbox, and then there's fucking white powder flying everywhere. When he shoots up that room with the fish and it really starts to turn on,
Yeah.
he shoots that up. There's fucking white powder everywhere. He throws a grenade or whatever it is in that room.
Yeah.
That room blows up 4 times, Adam. It's like it just keeps going.
But you know what, though? You know what? He's on a cocaine. He's got the cocaine. He's got a contact fucking cocaine high.
Oh, fucking
'Cause
oath.
there's so much shit in the air. Like,
Yeah.
He'd have been fucking off his gourd.
Off your face. But I like how all the kind of workers run in and then a bloke that looked like fucking Johnny Platten just took up some henchman work after he, retired from the Hawthorn midfield, starts trying to mow Bronson down. And then he just kind of, again, it's just shake it off.
Yeah.
There's 30 blokes that have just been offered a fucking...
And he basically runs out of the place he's got no bullets left, but he's running around clocking people left and right with a fucking Uzi.
Oh, it's so good.
And then just runs out the front door.
Yeah, love it.
Magic. Look, I did like the twist that he goes to see Nathan White. Turns out Nathan White never existed.
Yeah.
He'd been at the house for a week. I was in Barbados.
Yeah. You look like it.
Hey, you look.
You're
You're
as
in
white.
Barbados. What? Your staff was stood down? No one fucking knows that Nathan
No one.
White's there.
Yeah.
Come on, mate. But I kind of like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't super successful, but
I
it
swung
just
around
was
on that
different.
one. I've got a little bit of something to say about that one later. But yeah, I appreciate the fact that they're trying to put some sort of story in there.
Yeah. And the last bit for me was he kills White by blowing to bits with a grenade launcher. Quite possibly the best death for a villain ever.
It's pretty fucking good.
He blows the bloke fucking sky high.
Yeah, especially when he's gibbering on about, I told her I was going to shoot her or whatever. Like, just fucking, he's just standing there, just dribbling. And Bronson's just like, boom.
Yeah, just
See you
blows him
later.
to shit.
Yeah, that was quite good. I didn't mind, like, the ending, like, back up in the roller rink.
Yeah, that was all right.
Classic canon, but kind of funny. And
It could have been better though. A big shootout there would have been kind of cool.
Yeah, I probably would have liked a bit more work on the roller ring. I mean, if it was a fucking if it was an Enzo Castellari film, you would have had a couple of the henchmen coming out on the roller skates.
Yeah, no.
Coming after him.
But could you imagine people trying to roller skate to safety and then getting mowed down?
It just felt like it was we were in that place with the series where they should have been blasting at each other across the roller rink, and we get a few shots of, collateral damage just being fucking blown off their skates.
Jesus, yeah. I'm not a bloodthirsty man, Jared, but sometimes I can appreciate that.
I mean, at this point, those parts are comedy more than fucking...
Yeah.
Yeah,
you got to the point where it was kind of like, it was almost fucking parody.
Yeah. I also like the end. It's kind of reminiscent of the first one where he kind of, turns up in a different place and sees those punks and kind of does the finger gun at them, when the guy's like, I'll shoot. And Bronson's just like, do whatever you have to, and just kind of keeps on walking away. And it's like, he's going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Cannon's going to offer him another $5 million and he'll come back and do it again.
Charles will be 75.
Yeah.
Desperate for work.
Yeah.
Anything else from you? Likewise?
No, that was it.
All right, into the dislikes. Acting. Shocking. The secondary performers are shithouse. Like,
yeah, you don't want to spend too much time with many of them.
I don't know what he was doing, Jay Lee was doing, but everyone's going overboard.
Well,
and
I don't mind that so much.
But that's then counterbalanced by Bronson going underboard.
Just a cool customer.
Laconic.
Cool customer.
The bloke is he is fucking flat.
Yeah. I feel like there was a couple of times when they're like, Charles, are you awake? Are you ready to go?
No, you can guarantee that Jay
Lee
Lee said to him, listen, mate, we need to do a couple of takes. And Charles was like, nah, we're not doing anything more.
And then Jay Lee pulls out the pay stub for that week and says, look at your daily total, Charles.
So,
just
Charles,
one or
you've
two
been
more.
paid $30,000 today.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Take two.
Yeah. Yeah. But what about what's in the craft services? Because if it's not what I'm after... there's trouble.
Expect to fucking get a Klaus Kinski
if it's fucking quiche,
dressing down.
If it's quiche and coleslaw, I'll fucking have you.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
I can just never get down with Charles Family Man Bronson. I just think it's hilarious to watch him.
I can't get down with it either. And these movies had got to the point where it's a 5-minute setup.
Oh, this one was so short.
Like, the only thing we get is they're at dinner, and Bronson just throws out a quick word of like, well, we've been together for 2 years. I love her like my own daughter.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, Charles, I did not feel that at all.
No. And you know what else makes that harder to take? She's dead within 6 minutes of appearing on the screen, Adam.
Unbelievable.
And I reckon she's on the screen for, 4 minutes of that?
Not even that.
So
majority of the time before she's killed, we're dealing with the drug dealers and that.
Yeah. So talk about shorthand. Oh. And she was an actor that had played stuff before, right? She was in Vacation.
In Vacation, yeah.
So it feels like you keep her around a little longer or started a little bit earlier or something.
Well, my thing is, to counterbalance his fucking massive rage of killing everyone, you could have had some character stuff. Maybe she didn't get killed. Maybe she got hurt, or maybe she snorted some coke and things didn't go well.
Maybe they
But she survived.
Maybe they decided to cut that short because they'd watched the previous Death Wish films with interacting with loved ones and thought, fuck. The less of this, the better.
And no disrespect, because I know he obviously loved his wife and she died tragically.
Yes.
But he just seems like he doesn't know what to do with them. With his girlfriends.
Yeah.
Especially in these movies.
Well, part 2, yes, it was actually her. And that one was a little better because they gave her more screen time to actually be involved, and then finished it up with her figuring out, this is what he's doing and cutting the cord, which was good. But earlier in that film, Adam, when he takes his daughter who's still recovering from the previous trauma and is mute and whatever, him taking her out is.
Does she get raped
fucking-
in that too?
Yeah, she
Oh,
gets
for
raped and
fuck-
dies in that one, which was at the I
fuck's
believe was at the
sake.
behest of Michael Winner
Oh.
on that one. He rewrote some of that, but there's a part that I couldn't stop laughing at. He's taking her for a walk, and he says ice cream, but he says it with like an emphasis that I would not use or haven't heard. Like I say ice cream.
Yeah.
He's kind of like walking down the street, and he's like, "Let's go get some ice cream." And
Yeah,
kind of,
yeah,
and he says it a couple of times.
Charles.
So I've still got to go and get your ice cream. And then he does it again in Death Wish 3.
Why is he fucking so
don't know why
so
he's so keen
enamored
on
with
ice
ice cream? I mean, I love ice cream too,
I
but
love ice cream too,
I
but
don't-
I know
I
they're
don't
doing
go-
outs to everyone every time I'm going to eat
I
it.
don't fucking run it out like that.
Yeah, you probably don't either, given that you mow through a bucket of it and try to hide it in the bin before anyone
No,
notices.
I mow through a bucket of it, then I get fucking gallstones and I end up in a hospital and they ask me to write down, what have you eaten tonight? And the top score, Jared, was top answer, fucking 1 litre of ice cream.
yeah. Did they look at that and then kind of look at you and say, nah?
They looked at
gotta
me.
stop.
They said, "So I wonder what's brought you here tonight."
You sure your guts aren't just frozen?
I think it's the 1 litre of ice cream. Like, I like you don't have to be a fucking doctor to work this one out.
Yeah.
Some guy in the waiting room said, "I know what's fucked you up. You
Yeah,
ate a litre of ice cream, you
Yeah.
idiot."
The bloke fucking laying in the bed next to you is diagnosing
Jared,
you. and
side note, the next day they checked for the gallstones. They fucking strangely enough disappeared.
shit. What, they'd frozen overnight?
I think
Just
they
like
were
a-
never there, Jared.
You know when he gets the ice cream in part 3, though? It's when he fucking dips upstairs to the neighbours and starts telling them, oh, whatever you're cooking smells delicious. And the lady goes, stuffed cabbage. He goes,
That's right.
smells wonderful. No, it doesn't, Charles.
That's
You're
where
just
I'm
being polite.
going. I'm going, oh, no.
Yeah.
Not tonight. I think
Because I think he eats with them and then he kind
Yeah,
of says, I think I'll go down the street and get myself some ice cream.
Jesus Christ, Charles.
Charles, no, you
Fuck's
like
going
ice
on?
cream. I was waiting for it in part 4 by this point.
I also love, Jared, that by this stage, 4 films in, we're still trotting out that Bronson's a mild-mannered architect. It just so happens to have shot like 40 people.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Well, they insinuate that he's done it outside of what we see in the movies. They mention a couple of things that aren't in the movies. So it's like at this point, the guy is doing nothing but killing vigilantes, yet somehow manages to moonlight as a very successful architect.
very successful. And nobody, are you saying this movies are trying to say that nobody has looked across the road and saw a fucking mustachioed man blowing fucking someone out of his shoes.
A mustachioed
hand
man with
cannon.
a fucking cornetto in hand and a fucking rocket launcher in the other.
Yeah, it says, and wearing one of the what is fucking Jerry Seinfeld's dad flogging those jackets, the fucking whatever they were called, wearing one of those jackets, those long jackets, and that person doesn't go to the cops and say, "Well, get me a sketch artist and I'll show you who it is," and then they go,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's that fucking architect."
That's
down the road."
Robert Bronzy. I recognise him anywhere.
Yeah. They come to see him and they look at him and go, "Oh, sorry to bother you, Mr. Kersey. We're actually looking for Robert Bronzy."
But yeah, his architecture business is going under. I mean, you got to get some sleep. You're killing thugs every night.
Yeah. Look, I'd love to use him. He's a great architect, but quite frankly, I think he's killed some people.
Yeah. He gave me a couple of sketches and they had blood on them. Like,
Yeah, tried blood. And then in amongst them, there was a sketch of him shooting someone. Like, he'd drawn
it
out
was
what he was
covered
going to
in
do.
white powder. I think he was snorting coke off his sketches or something like that.
Look, he's. I can't trust him. Look, we love your work, Paul, but we can't trust you. You don't seem fucking
Yeah.
trustworthy.
But again, Charles is cooler under a police interrogation than he is talking to his partner about tragic deaths. Like he's
As I said, I haven't got time for that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
also, Jared, he's a mild-mannered architect. People walk into the room and ask him to shoot someone, and he's fucking immediately on board.
yeah. Fuck. Okay, you got me over a barrel here. Can you help me out with some weapons? Like,
You've got me over a fucking non-existent barrel.
yeah.
You seem to have nothing on me.
Yeah, you seem to have nothing on me, so I'll go ahead and do that thing that means you will have quite a bit on me. Well, that's a yes. You don't happen to be in Golan's team, do you? Because he was offering $4 million for this.
They look at each other across the room and go, I'm on to you.
Yeah. I think like on the back of what we were just talking about with the daughter, well, not his daughter, but his partner's daughter. And then, I mean, look, I can't remember the names, and her name was Erica, but I can't remember his partner's name, and that says everything you need to know about Death Wish movies. That the female characters are just used to motivate Bronson, and then literally discarded. Almost all of them are killed by the end of the movie.
She's briefly brought back as doing some investigative journalism, but other than that, she barely crops up.
Yeah,
and then is she not shot at the end?
She's shot at the end. She's killed at the end. So just add it to the list of Charles's fucking people in Kersey's circle that have been gunned down or raped and murdered.
Unlucky enough, Jared.
Fucking hell. Talk about the kiss of death. I think it's that mean. It becomes so disconnected from that. Essentially, we go immediately from that 5 minutes of your daughter's dead, I'll yell at you, and then I'm off on vengeance.
Yeah, vengeance tour.
But the vengeance tour is so disconnected. Like all he does is he shows once he carries that fucking picture of her to the guy at the end, and he mentions the other time, you sell drugs to children or something like that. Aside from that, it's just essentially it's just to get him in motion, and then from that point, it's like he gets set on the track, he kills someone, we get a voiceover from White with some heavy exposition about who this next person is, and we go straight to another set piece or scene, and it happens for the next kind of 45 minutes, which is fine because that's part of the movie that I really enjoyed. But in terms of if you're looking at it from a narrative perspective,
terrible.
You just fucking forget about those characters at the start. I mean, his dead daughter, we'll just call her the daughter because that's the role she kind of plays, is forgotten within 5 minutes.
Well, yeah. They're using it for motivational purposes only, but he doesn't even seem like he's motivated by that.
No, he just enjoys it.
He just enjoys shooting people.
Yes. So it's kind of, it makes a real disconnect between what's going on with his partner, who, as you said, kind of leaves for a while, but then is kind of shown just in a couple of scenes, oh, yeah, I'm investigating this, and then gets wrapped up in it at the end. But she really has nothing to do.
Jared, if you were any sort of investigative reporter, it wouldn't be hard to find Paul Kersey.
Well, fucking everyone can. Every police investigation comes up with his name. An unattached fucking drug dealer has sussed it out and figured it all out. Like, you're figuring it out.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe it's that whole neighborhood full of people who, were cheering him on and joined him in Death Wish 3. There was at least 100 people that knew Paul Kersey was doing that then. Like,
yeah, exactly. And none of them went to the cops, Jared. None of them.
Of course, none of them.
Look, it looks cheap. It looks pretty cheap. Like, the opening sequence, even though it's a dream, it looks pretty cheap.
I think it was shot in the Cannon car park, probably.
Possibly. But it just looks really kind of cheap and nasty.
But yeah, even the set pieces are reasonably small. You got the one in the restaurant. You got the one.
The only one that's a bit sort of larger is the one out on the oil field.
The oil field and the cannery's not too bad, but even that's pretty contained.
Yeah, so they keep it well contained. They blow some stuff up, but it's not what you'd call big ticket. Like a whole building doesn't get fucking blown up.
No,
it's just like a room. Gunfire and squibs and shit, that's pretty cheap back then. So the film just looks cheap. Like if you're paying Charles Bronson $4 million and the rest of the budget is $5 million, you got to have a good look at what you're doing with that money. Like Bronson should not have been getting $4 million. Like the only reason he's getting $4 million is because he basically said, "I don't want to do this."
Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, shit. Maybe I should do that at work.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. Yeah, well, fucking tell your story walking then. That's basically what we get told.
Yeah. I get, it's obviously they're hitched to a name that's played the character 3 times at this point. I get that sort of stuff, but Cannon, I mean, fuck, financial responsibility,
Yeah.
boys. You're
Fiscal
going under.
responsibility. All you need to say to him is, listen, we'll give you $2 million.
Yeah.
We'll give
Charles,
you 2.
we'll pay it. We'll give you what you got last time, which is a tidy little sum for you, and then you can go on not acting.
I think
if
he
you
got
like.
5 for Death Wish 5.
Yeah.
But that was 94.
And I think by that point you could tell he didn't fucking want to borrow.
No.
it. He was literally just here for he was cashing them checks by then.
Oh, yeah. The opening sequence has a number of problems. Firstly, the woman in the car is overacting fucking unbelievably. Screaming, yelling, fucking, it's like nails on a chalkboard. I was like, Jay Lee, you got to intervene. Secondly, I've never understood wearing a stocking over your head. I mean, you still look the same, just like you got a squashed melon.
Yeah. It's
like if I saw those guys, I'd be going, it's that guy, but his face just looks...
Yeah. It's that guy with the messed up hair and the nose that looks kind of red from being squashed under it.
Yeah, under the fucking stockings he got from bloody convenience store or something before he went over to rob someone of their car.
Yeah. It feels like the old balaclava is far more effective for the same
Much
sort of
more effective. I
purposes.
mean, honestly, you should not be... Like, I would not be able to tell who was under a balaclava. But if you're going stocking, nah. I don't understand. I've never understood it.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
They look ridiculous.
Yeah, they do look ridiculous. And when she keeps looking up and the new guy keeps joining it, they look like the fucking guys out of Electric Boogaloo or something.
Remember what was the TV show? Remember what was the TV show where someone made some nasty comments about Menudo, and then Menudo showed up in the car park? That's what it reminded me of.
I was unaware of this. I'm going to have to look it up when I get home.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but
Surely it's
on
Wikipedia. Surely it's under Wikipedia under controversy. Jesus Christ. Now, when we first see Bronson, he looks old. He looks very frail here. So you can clearly see that there are a number of shots where he's fighting with someone and he's pushed onto the ground or whatever, and it's not him.
Yeah,
it's a stunt
couple
man.
times. Yeah.
It's a stunt man. I do, of course. He's got a 30-year age gap romance going on.
Yeah, in this one, yes.
Yeah, easily 30 years. And then he has the fucking hide to say, as I said before, that these guys are his family because we've been together for 2 years. I love her like a daughter. But I'm not buying any of that. Like, I didn't buy any of that.
Yeah.
Like, it just fucking went straight past me.
Especially when she comes to show him the architecture drawings and he goes, it's not great, but it's pretty good. It's like, which one is it? Because they're quite different.
Well, it's better than yours because I tell you what, I've actually done some work. You've fucking been wandering around shooting people.
Yeah. You're lucky to have a fucking pencil sketch happening here.
Exactly. The other thing I also found highly amusing, Jared, is when daughter Erica is kind of, when she dies, the only thing you get out of Bronson is, so for a guy who loves her like his own daughter, he looks at the camera with what I believe is meant to be a steely look, but he clearly looks fucking disinterested. He's like this. He just sort of goes.
Yeah.
And then that's it. That is all we ever get. He never mentions that girl ever again, apart from telling his wife or girlfriend to stop whinging about it.
A lot of that shit was under par, wasn't it?
It was very under par.
Another one that made me laugh, when the police first come to talk to Kirsty after they get the list of, they narrow it down to 9 people, and then next thing you know, we've got the 2 cops coming to talk to him at the architecture office, which, I mean, when they see that no work's done, they're like, we're onto this one. But
yeah.
They kind of start talking to him, and then they're asking him a few questions, and I think they say like, I'm married or something like that. And he goes, my wife and daughter are dead. And the cop goes, oh, I'm sorry. Car accident? It's like, mate.
Don't presume.
Yeah, you don't need to elaborate, but you just say I'm sorry. And then
Yeah.
okay, maybe we note that one down. But You don't start
So what
tossing out.
happened?
You don't just start tossing out random guesses. Like,
Car accident? No.
yeah.
Murder?
When someone tells me, "Oh, so and so's passed away," unfortunately, I'm like, you know, that's tragic. I'm sorry. I don't say cancer.
Yeah.
Like fucking, what are we
Cancer?
doing?
Some sort of weird syndrome? Like,
Jesus.
what do we got?
Have some tact,
Yeah,
man.
tact.
Christ.
Tact. But also, yeah, Jared, when they turn up, they notice there's no work's been done since 1974.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they're like, when was the last time you fucking actually planned a building?
Yeah,
Or
he seemed to have done
74.
some great work up until 74. Since then, it looks like like a child's drawing of a fucking house
Yeah.
here. Like,
But also, it seems like this is a front for
Yeah.
your fucking murderous rampages.
yeah. And your lunchbox has got an Uzi in it.
Yeah. And then they go, oh, some wine. Don't touch that. Boom. Blows your fucking head off.
Oh, fuck. So good.
I love the bit. I know. I love the way they show it, how they show us what a scumbag Ed Zacharias is by he has a fucking birthday cake with a nude woman. Nude woman on it,
Yeah.
which happens to have one of the candles on her tit.
Yes.
like it's like
Yeah. Right on the nipple.
Like
yeah.
yes, he's a scumbag, but I think this is too far.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Yeah, did you say to invite the kids or not? Because I accidentally brought them. So
here, take this piece
Slice
of
the
cake,
cake?
to little Johnny.
Yeah,
It's,
I'll have the tit.
What is it? Oh, it's her crotch. What? Come
Dear, oh
on,
dear.
guys. Like, there are better ways to do this. In fact, you did it better when you had him kill his right-hand man.
yeah,
That shows you what
yeah.
a fucking harsh villain he is.
Yeah.
Not that he had, like, it's his 60th birthday and he's got fucking nude ladies
But
on his
again,
cake.
I laughed at that.
Oh, of course you did.
Scumbag.
Honestly. Have you got...
You questioning my morals now?
Yes.
Because like Charles, I stand firm
They're
until
flexible.
until there's a cash offer on the table, and then they're pretty flexible.
Also, who's hiring a fucking 65-year-old geriatric to do waiting work? How did he get that shit? How did he get the gig?
Well,
You
yeah,
have to
you want
go
someone that's
through a
going to move
company.
pretty quickly, especially when they're like, "Get the cake out of that kid's hands." Oh shit! Okay, sorry.
You know what? The only line he was comfortable in saying was, I went to the toilet, because he'd been
Yeah,
about
yeah.
fucking 40
Yeah,
times.
you've been in there for half an hour.
You were in there 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. Well, I'm 65.
My
I've got
prostate
a prostate the size of fucking grapefruit. Like, what do you want me to do? Like,
Yeah. No, but my usual response is, but this was a number 2. Like, the other one was
Yeah.
a fucking piss.
yeah. If they're coming out different ends, you can't kind of lump them in the same category of toilet trip. This is a technicality. I've been a firm believer in that for a long time.
Totally different.
You know,
Totally different. Like, if we were to mark these on a board, Jared, like it's
I need
piss,
2 separate
shit.
boards. They don't belong on the same board.
I know. And you can't say, oh, yeah, but you do your piss as well when you... Like, no, you don't. Like, no, don't go there. Don't
Yeah.
go there.
And look, if it's on the number 2 board, you're lucky I was out in half an hour, to be honest. Like,
yeah, like if you hired me for an 8-hour shift, you're only really getting like 4.
yeah. And I need it in the
And
contract
between
that
the
those
hours
are both
of like
separate.
8 and 10, I'm spending a lot of time in the shitter.
They're separate. I'm 65, so I need extras of the ones. It's like,
You better pay me for 10 hours.
and if you don't fucking if you don't do me right here, I'm going straight to the union. Okay, so
they wouldn't let me piss when I needed to.
yeah,
Where in the world does someone get a fucking bomb in a bottle of wine? And secondly, Jared, where the fuck does an architect with no real connections get a fucking bomb with a
Mate,
bottle of wine with a bomb?
honestly, by this point, he's like James Bond, just without the MI6 interactions. He's fucking got all sorts of shit.
Yeah.
He's tapping phones.
The local
he's-
scumbags have got fucking FBI, MI6 level fucking connections and skills.
Yeah.
But what I love about that too is when he walks in and starts giving us a spiel about the wine.
Yeah.
Totally unconvincing.
Oh, fucking totally. Although I
unconvincing.
absolutely loved it. I'm like, look at him go. Look at his fucking talk about thinking on your feet.
I love the way the guy goes, let's see what he turns and goes, let's see what the patrons think. And the guy goes, look, they're not interested. And he just fucking wanders off.
Yeah.
He wanders over, he gives it to Danny Trejo. I mean, he's playing with fire, Jared, because
He's
the
playing with
clock's
fire.
ticking.
Yeah, of course. I'm surprised Trejo wasn't in the kitchen doing his Trejo's tacos.
Yeah, that's right.
No, this food's shit. Let me show you how to fucking whip up a taco here.
Absolutely fucking.
I think why I like that so much is because I was fucking bamboozled. I don't know anything about wine. So as soon as they go, is it a red or a white? I'm like, it's a red. What else do you know about it? It's wine.
Fruity. That's what I go with.
It's bursting with flavour.
Yeah, it's fruity.
It's got notes of fucking red. I don't know.
It's got red notes. What I like to go with is, it's oaky.
Yeah. I remember going to.
It's got a taste of sandalwood.
I got sat down at a dinner once where they started offering up some wines just on the house or whatever.
No.
So I'm like, yeah, okay. No, I get something poured for me, and I'm like, good. Like they're sitting there waiting for you to kind of, what do you think? And I'm just like, yeah, that's good. And they're like, do you get that? Do you get the woody?
No, I don't.
I'm like,
no.
Yeah, I fucking lots of them. Like
I would have said, I've got
idea.
no idea what you're talking about.
I taste grog. Did this come from a goon bag?
Yeah, what I taste? Tomorrow morning at about 3 a.m., that's going to be fucking sitting in front of me.
That's when I tell you what notes I taste, but it's fucking coming back up with a vengeance later on. And because it's a red, it's going to be fucking messy.
You know what I taste notes of? Fucking Subway. Because I ate that before. Now I've yacked it all back up.
I taste notes of a greasy pizza that I ate at fucking 2 a.m.
You know what though? The only time I ever did it was overseas.
Yeah.
And we went to a wine tasting thing in Italy, I think, and we're down in there doing it. And they usually give you a little miniature glass.
Yeah,
they give you a tiny glass. They give you a small amount of wine, and you cleanse your palate beforehand, and you do that.
All that sort of shit. You squish the glass.
Whereas what I do is go, knock it straight back. Go, yeah.
Oh, did we miss you?
No.
Yeah.
These fuckers brought out like a tumbler. It's as fucking big as the glass that you got there.
Adam, is this the same place you had sacks of beers tied to your belt?
But that was in London.
Yeah.
This was in Italy. And it was a fucking glass tumbler like this.
Yep.
And so they come out with the first wine, and I'm thinking,
getting
a small amount.
Yeah.
No, they fucking filled the glass up.
Yeah. So by glass 3, they're serving Ric Flair going, well, you're tasting those woody notes.
Yeah.
Woo! Fucking oath I am.
And I'm not joking, Jared. They gave you 20 minutes to knock that over. And then they come out with another bottle.
Excellent.
I was fucking off my face.
Yeah.
And if I tasted any notes, I don't know what they were.
Yeah, I couldn't read them, whatever.
Yeah. I was fucking
good.
not interested in notes, Jared.
Yeah. Well, that's the kind of level I'm at with. So Kirsty's wine knowledge, I thought he was doing great.
Yeah, absolutely. I was fucking convinced by that. Like, it's come from the Napa Valley, he tells me.
Yeah. But, further to what you're saying, he's not only got a wine bottle that blows up, but it's actually got wine in it too.
I know. It's
Talk
like
about covering your bases.
It's like that shaving cream tin in fucking Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Because it's got all the fucking embryos in the bottom of it.
Spot on. I think by the time we get to the hotel and the cops have been onto him for a little while now, I mean, it's unlucky that you get spotted strolling out the front door, but drive a different car, Paul. You're still driving the one that they picked you up on.
It's
Obviously,
your
you
own
don't
car,
know this,
Paul.
but you're sort of like, okay, if they're onto me, I might need to be a bit more careful.
Do you think after four...
Catch a cab. Ride a fucking push bike, Paul. Like,
Do you think that after 3 goes at this, he was sitting back thinking, this fucking vigilante stuff's easy?
Oh, yeah.
Like, no
easy.
one ever picks me up.
Well, fuck, he's working in the 80s. He started in the 70s and 80s, so get away with anything.
Oh, yeah. When DNA came in, he was fucked.
As long as you stick firm, and we've seen Charles under police pressure, as long as you stick firm with, wasn't me.
I was in the toilet.
You're pretty
in
right.
the toilet.
Oh, yeah. We got his work records, and they said, yes, he was, in fact, in the toilet. So,
Yeah.
it didn't come out of
Imagine
there.
that. The cops are sitting together discussing the case and they go, this Paul Kersey looks good for this. And the other guy goes, his alibi checks out. He's got the prostate the size of a fucking apple. And he was in the toilet, according to his... According to the staff of the waiter service he works for.
I served him a couple of cups of tea this morning, and I'm telling you, it was fucking 15-minute intervals from there. We were lucky to see the bloke. All you saw was he walked this way, and then 5 minutes later he was walking that way.
His alibi's solid. He wears an adult diaper.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, fuck, checks out then. He didn't do it.
It's not him. Yeah, this job would have taken much longer to execute. We would have had a sample somewhere.
We would have found piss on the floor somewhere while this was happening. When the guy, when he fights the guy when he's making a sandwich and the guy's fucking
Yeah. In Tom Hardy's apartment, he's making a steak sandwich.
But he fights the guy, and again, I come back to clearly there's a fucking stuntman getting thrown around, not Charles. But when he finally gets on top of the guy and he pushes him out the window, an extremely unconvincing dummy goes fucking flying out the window.
Yeah.
And they shoot it. Poor old Jay Lee decides we better shoot it coming down. So it's fucking flapping around like one of those
completely obvious.
Those marketing things at fucking at a used car lot.
Oh,
sort of fucking flopping around like this.
Yeah, quite a few times.
Once again, Cannon cutting corners.
Yeah, cutting corners, of course. Yeah, it looks like shit. That's all right. No one knows.
Yeah, no one cares.
So I'm coming around to the twist.
Yes.
I know you mentioned that
I
you
loved
liked
it.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Yeah, you were all for it. You were too concerned about what he was fucking eating at the time. But it was plain as day that White was dodgy, or the guy that was pretending to be White was dodgy and using Kersey for his own ends.
Oh.
Like it's plainly telegraphed. And if you're gonna do that, maybe don't use a guy that you've previously cast as the villain in 2 other Cannon movies before this. Like, we know this guy. We know
was
what
that
he
a
plays.
fake beard he was wearing? Because I'm pretty sure
Possibly,
it was.
possibly.
He didn't look. He looked sketchy.
Yeah.
I think is the term that I would use.
Um,
but then again, I was fucking totally bamboozled by the fact that it wasn't him.
I didn't.
Like, that's
He pulls off the fake beard, and you're like, "Who's this guy? I've never seen him before."
Nathan White. Oh, fuck that guy.
I think it was funny that I don't mind that guy. He's kind of over the top. He's good
Shtick.
for these cheesy.
It
action
didn't
ones.
work very
He's
well in American
legitimately-
Ninja.
Yeah,
Was it
he's-
American Ninja?
No, Avenging Force.
Veggie Force, sorry.
Um,
Veggie Force.
I think he did another one after this too, but he was also in Runaway Train. He
Yeah.
was really good in Runaway Train, and his accent or his kind of that was where Voight and Eric Roberts would like dueling banjos for who could do the wildest fucking accent. So he looks restrained in comparison,
Yeah,
but he's really good in that.
Yeah.
And I think he's for what Avenging Force is, he suits that too. Like
Yes.
he's just ridiculous, a bit over the top. So I'm fine with him in this role. Like I quite like seeing the guy,
of course not. I'd be more than happy to see him there.
but yeah, he's it was very telegraphed. And I thought it was piss funny that when he's White, he's kind of buttoned down and he's kind of putting on a bit of a tone that he's talking with. And then as soon as you see him, as soon as the real White is revealed, the very next thing you see him with gold chains on, he's on the phone going, "Yeah, we want our shipment tomorrow." He's fucking loosened up. He's dressed like something out of Miami Vice. Like, again, yeah, typical Cannon restraint with this sort of stuff. Like, it was perfect.
Oh man, yeah, that's correct. That sort of blew it for me.
Just a bit. It was piss funny.
Now, there's a bloke who gets shot in the head at the oil field shootout. Who
Yeah.
does a fucking 180-degree turn and then just crashes straight through the window of his car.
Ric Flair flop kind of style. Like, Brilliant.
It was so terrible. It was fucking
We need
so
more of
laid
that.
out.
We need more of that stuff.
I was just like, it's clearly a stuntman who's been told to smash his fucking head through the window. Oh,
I'm
looks so
longing for
funny.
the day, Adam, that we get a Halloween film or a Friday the 13th where someone cops a machete to the head and then does the fucking Ric Flair flop.
Yeah,
They
just
take 5 or
wanders
6
off and
steps.
goes-
So I'm all for that. Like,
yeah, that's okay.
chalk it up as a win.
Yeah, I say so too. When White's crew trap Kersey in his car
Yeah.
and start shooting, it's fucking clear there's no one
Yeah,
in
there's
the
no
front
one there.
seat.
Yeah.
yet
And they
when
shoot
it's
for
over,
about a minute and a half.
yeah, and then they
just-
walk over as if to sort of they're backslapping as if to say, "Hey, got the guy."
Yeah, yeah. Did anyone notice that there's nobody in the fucking car? You idiot.
He's not the fucking invisible man, is he?
That's right.
Jesus. And look, my last one is as per usual. If you're dating Paul Kersey, you'll definitely be either killed, raped, maimed, or other. But also, his girlfriend of several years, the end of this movie, is shot, heinously shot in the
Unceremoniously
back,
just- yeah.
and Kersey does not. He just walks away. He doesn't even go to her to see maybe she's all right.
I said I like the ending. I like that line in isolation and him walking off, but you're 100% correct. I mean, he acts like
He looks over and goes, "Oh fuck, she's dead."
Yeah. I'm happy because she was still grieving, and it was really It was really difficult to handle when she was.
Look, that
upset in
relationship
her
was
car.
that relationship had run its course.
Yeah,
okay.
it looked like it.
I was going to break up with her anyway.
Charles's
So-
emotions were required to sort of rise and dip a little more than usual, and
Yeah.
he just couldn't get to
He
it.
wasn't willing. Again, he probably was asked, "Look, we need you to do this," and Charles was like, "I'm not doing it."
I mean, this was a talking point that I wanted to bring up with you. Kersey seems to have handled tragedy that no person could fucking handle quite well. Like, he's well adjusted.
Well, look, let's look at it. Do you think he's got PTSD? Yeah, he's got plenty of PTSD. He not only has his entire family been fucking heinously killed,
Yeah.
but he's killed a lot of people.
Well, chalk up the tally. So in the first movie,
Was it
it's his wife and daughter that are assaulted, and his wife is killed. Correct.
Yeah,
Movie number 2, it's the housekeeper
daughter.
and then the daughter, who is still recovering and is still in a facility, gets assaulted and killed. Movie.
What kind of fucking asshole uses that as
Well, but this is, and that's the only one. So that's where the girlfriend stays with him and lives, but she leaves because she fucking cuts the cord later when she realizes
she
he's a
says, "Paul,
vigilante.
you're too close to this."
So part 3 is sort of unattached in the family sense, but
He's got
multiple
a missus.
members of the
Hasn't he?
multiple members of
His mate,
oh, no,
best
so
mate
you're
gets
right.
killed.
Yeah, he gets with the public defender, who then gets blown up in a car 10 minutes later. Stop laughing. But then also
Sorry,
he meets
tragic.
the people in the community, a number of whom die.
His mate
Another
gets
one
killed
who
too.
is assaulted in fucking Michael Winner style. But yeah, his mate dies at the start of the movie. That woman dies. I think a couple of other people on the periphery in
The public
the community
defender is blown
die.
up.
Public defender is blown up. So then we've got this one. I haven't
Girlfriend
watched-
of 2 years and stepdaughter,
What happens in 5?
both killed. God only knows. Fucking hell. I don't know. There cannot be any more girlfriends because he's like fucking 70.
Yeah, he's
Unless he's hitting up Harmony. Could you imagine his videos? Because back then it would have been videos.
yeah.
My name's Paul Kersey. I'm an architect
But what do you
by
like?
day and a psychopath
Yeah,
by
Paul.
night.
What do you like? I like ice cream. What do you dislike? Don't talk to me about your emotional problem. Like fuck. And vigilante and
Vigilantism.
criminals. I like vigilante. Would you like to get some ice cream? I'd love to go and get some ice cream sometime.
Yeah. What's your idea of the perfect date? You'd come over to my place. I'd cook stuffed cabbage. We'd have some ice cream. Then we'd go for a walk where you'd be heinously killed, and I would kill the other people involved.
Dear,
That's like a wonderful night out, Paul. Look, Paul
I'll make you a sandwich.
in someone else's kitchen. But also, Jared, Paul wouldn't have been getting a lot of nudges. with
No, I don't think so.
I would suggest it would have been kind of like, who's this guy?
I'm a bit old to know which direction to swipe, but he's getting the swipe that you don't want.
I think it's you swipe left if you fucking think they're an idiot. Like,
You can't swipe left fucking fast enough with cursing.
oh man, fucking hell. He's like one of those ones where you go, nah, immediately. Fucking, nah. He
You
also
see the
finished,
picture where he cracks that half kind of grin that he does. It's like,
And by the way, I need to go to the toilet every 20 minutes. It's a prostate thing. Fucking hell. All right. Hey, you got anything else?
No, I think it's.
You
I
think you're
it's
pretty happy
well
with that?
covered. Yeah. And I'm in for many more of these style of films in the next couple of weeks to months with these canon books.
Of course.
I'm on a mission to get through all of them. I've only skipped one. No, I've skipped two.
Well, you couldn't find Death Wish.
Yeah, there was one called like Teen Mothers or something that I was like, I read about it and it was like, yeah, sounds like shit. I don't think I need to watch that. And then New Year's Evil popped up and I was like, I've seen that recently enough. Don't wish to watch it again in a hurry.
I'm
So
not going to watch that again.
I won't be watching that one again.
All right. That was Death Wish 4. You can find us on Podomatic, iTunes, Spotify, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. Send us an email at thrillme@iinet.net.au. We're on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia, Podomatic at thrillme.podomatic.com, and Instagram at Thrill Me Podcast AU. Make sure you rate and review us on any of the platforms you hear us on. Keep an eye on the Facebook page for details of the next movie that we cover. But until then, take it easy, everyone, and we'll catch you all later. Cheers. Find the podcast at Podomatic or on iTunes. Don't forget to rate and review. Like us on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia or contact us at thrillme, all one word, all lowercase, at iinet.net.au.